Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies. And in today's video, as you can see, I am back talking about what made Ninjago great live. Yes, we are live today. Now I already did a separate video basically going over my basic thoughts about what made Ninjago great. I didn't go too far into that video though, and the reason why is because I actually made an entire playlist of videos talking about what made the show great. But I am not alone. Today we are going live, and I always just go live with a couple of friends of mine. And today we are going to be talking about what made Ninjago great. And because a couple of my friends have just finished the show, they probably are going to end up talking a lot about what the show has in store. And because of that, I expect this stream to go for maybe 2, possibly 3 hours. It depends on how long and what they have to say. But there is a lot of Ninjago. We have 16 plus seasons to talk about, plus the new show, which I don't think the new guys have seen. But I can tell you what, the new show, I'm about iffy on it. But with that said, let me shut up and let me actually introduce my friends. First up, we have my buddy, the Austinator. Tell people.
Hey, what up, boys? Hi, everybody. I'm the Austinator. Look, I'm gonna be real with everybody. I'm not doing a lot on my channel, but I am very active now on Letterboxd. I'm rewatching the DCEU movies. Oh, goody. That's my favorite time of the year. Well, because let's be honest, I try to wipe my brain of these movies, but actually some of them are not too bad. And Dylan, you'll actually be surprised, but I didn't hate Suicide Squad. I know that's kind of off topic. Yeah, I actually kind of, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm watching the 2017 Justice League, not the Zack Snyder one, the other one. And that'll be up maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Who cares? Hello, everybody. Just find me everywhere. Wednesday, I'm on the Hangout. Dylan, thanks for having me on. I'm not going to be on all night. Just warn everybody. But look. Yep. I'm talking about Ninjago. Yeah, that show. I haven't seen the newest show. I'm not planning on it. It's just forewarning. I'm not talking about it. All right, everybody. Yes, thank you, Dill, for having me on. And just so everybody can be pissed off here, okay? Crystallized was not bad, okay? So you know what?
Oh yeah.
Screw off to all the Crystallized haters.
Oh yeah, that's actually really funny. That's something we're definitely going to have to get into is Crystallized for sure, because a lot of Ninjago fans, quote unquote, the newer Ninjago fans, really didn't like it. But we are actually kind of the old school Ninjago fans, and we thought Crystallized was great. We'll talk more about it. But I am not here with just the Austinator. I am also here with my buddy Blake. Blake, tell people where they can find you at, man.
Hey guys, I am back once again here to talk some Ninjago, and I will say before I get into that, I will say it's funny that you guys mentioned that because I'm actually a living contradiction to that, you know? Because
actually,
once we get into the rankings and stuff like that, that is actually one of my favorites. You're going to see that in a little bit later, but I will mention I am a living contradiction to that. And so places to find me, YouTube, TikTok, Ronan Stuck Jr., and I pretty much just post content about video games and stuff like that. So, yep, I enjoyed being on the show.
With that said, we don't have just him. We also have my buddy Army Men Initiative, also known once as Star Wars. What was it? Star Wars Slow Motion, I believe it was. We have my buddy Steve.
Let's go!
Was formerly Star Wars Stop Motion Studios, but it's okay. So you guys can find me on YouTube at Army Men Initiative. That's my YouTube channel. It's growing really popular really fast. I'm pretty good at uploading, but I'm here to talk about Ninjago with everyone else here. And as Austin said, screw all you crystallized haters. Go to hell. Like, come on. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Besides maybe the fact that I hate S-Sphere, but besides that. Yeah, I loved Crystallized. And I loved Ninjago, besides Season 7, which made me want to die. Season 7 was the worst, but besides that, Ninjago was a great show. will be my first appearance on Dylan's streams ever, but probably not the last. You guys will see me around.
Probably not the last. Probably not the last.
Never.
With that said, I now wish I actually did have a crystallized hater on the show just to have that conversation with. But unfortunately, no. Literally, all my friends, including me, were all crystallized lovers, and I'm sorry, but if you are not a fan of crystallized, please, we want to hear you talk. We want to have a conversation with you. Let us know down in the comments below. If you're watching this live or if you're watching this later, let us know your thoughts about crystallized. But crystallized, yeah, that's obviously going to be a big topic of tonight's stream. But we are not just going to be talking about crystallized, guys. We are going to be talking about the entire darn show. And I think the one that really should start on his opinion on what made Ninjago great would probably be the Austin there.
Yeah, so I'm a Ninjago veteran, right? Like I've seen all the seasons before everybody else, and I have to just be honest. This show, Ninjoid showed me seasons 8 through 10 first before I even got to see the other seasons. But what makes Ninjago great in general? I mean, the best seasons is its storytelling. And having all these like character arcs, like yes, on the surface it is for kids, and it is. It's literally a Lego show on Cartoon Network, but when you actually really watch it, there's a lot of very mature themes of like all sorts of things. Like Lloyd is a character in general too, is like a character who's got so many layers to him. You know, as the show progresses, you see him like evolve as a character. Like he goes from being a little brat, you know, a little douche, if you will, and becomes like this heroic character. And even the side, like the other ninja are great too, especially like Zane, Cole, those types of characters. Even the characters that maybe I don't like Dareth, for example. Like yeah, he's annoying, but especially the newer show. You know, so I just missed them. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you hate somebody, but then like after a while, it's like, oh man, I miss that guy, and that was me with him. But you know, and just in general, like it's just a very fun show. Like it's a fun kid show, but there's just so much layers to it. Like I really don't know like what else to say other than that. Because I mean, I'm gonna keep my thoughts brief because I want to hear what everybody else has to say about it. But because I've already talked Ninjago already, so I'm not gonna sit here like for so long talking about it. So I'm gonna leave the floor to everybody else. I want to hear what everyone else has to say.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because that's literally if I was literally going to be doing this, and I already did. I literally made the video talking about what made Ninjago great on my channel. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts, you guys can go over there. But I literally just said pretty much the exact same thing my buddy Austin said. With that said, guys. Now we're going to go to my buddy Blake. And Blake, tell me, what do you think made Ninjago great to you as a show?
The chicken. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm literally just messing around. I just had to say that. I just had to say the chicken. It's just because there was this whole thing with it. I'm actually going to bring it back to you. I'll be right back.
One last thing, the police commissioner, best character of the show. Just want to be honest with everybody.
And best mustache.
Yeah.
Now that's for true.
All right, Steve, since Blake is out, you go ahead and same question, man. What made Ninjago great to you, dude?
All right, I'll take the floor here. So I feel like what made Ninjago great was the character development, mostly. I mean, yes, the action was good, and some seasons were absolutely horrible, like season 7. Like, there's no denying season 7 was by far the worst thing that ever happened to Ninjago. But even despite that, like, there were so many changes throughout the season, so many character developments, like, for example, Cole becoming a ghost, or like Zane becoming the Ice Emperor, which was probably one of my favorite things, part of the show. And just even Lloyd especially, from turning into this like young bratty piece of I'm not gonna say it, but into like an like mature person who basically looks down on his dad or and really cares about everyone else is like in serious development. I mean, he was so different by the end of the show. He didn't even remind me of I honestly forgot about the Lloyd at the start of the show until I remembered just a few minutes ago because it just wasn't the same Lloyd. Like this was a brand new character that had seriously developed over solid 16 seasons, and it was cool to see Lloyd change. And not just Lloyd, like all the other ninja changed, lost their powers and became more and more or less until they became the characters they were, whether it was in the specials, the pilot episodes, or just the main season in general. I think that the constant development, constant change of characters and their abilities that they gained over time was kind of spectacular to watch. And to be honest with you, I think Ninjago was a great show. But while it was for kids, it's not like just what kids can watch, if you know what I'm saying. Like young people can watch it, old people can watch it. So like it's a great show. That's all I can say. I absolutely loved watching it, except for season 7. So W show. That's really all I have to say about Ninjago. Dylan, I'll let you take the floor again.
All right. Well, until my buddy Blake is back with his thoughts, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of the show, shall we? Season 0. What did we all think about season 0? Actually, just for me, I actually want to talk about this just for a second. When Ninjago first came out, I was about in my high schools. I was kind of stopped watching cartoons at that point, and honestly, I just needed something to play in the background while I did my homeworks. And Ninjago just ended up being that show that I literally just played in the background. But I actually do remember sitting down and watching Ninjago season 0 when it first came out, and I actually really liked the whole story. I really liked Kai as a character, and him going to save his sister Nia was fun. It was a really great first beginning to the show, and the show really took off after there. Guys, I'm gonna start with the Austinator. What did you think about season 0, my friend?
It was all right. Like it didn't really blow me away. I mean, it was fun. It kind of established like the core ninja minus Lloyd. I mean, it was a decent introduction. It's not any like I'm not really gonna again. This is something I'm not going to comment much about. It just establishes what we're going to see in seasons 1 and 2. That's really all it does. It's not anything mind blowing. It doesn't make me go, "Wow, that was like the best thing ever." It was just it was okay. That's just me.
That is understandable. And Army Initiative, are you still here, my friend?
Always.
Go ahead and give your thoughts on season 0 since Blake is not back.
So, my experience with season 0 was a bit different from other people's because I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it after I read a Ninjago comic book about like the skeletons and the ninja fighting. I just read that book and was like, you know what, is this a show? And then I found it was a show, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it. And about like at 9 years old, I think I got like this Kindle for like kids, and I started with the pilot episodes because obviously I wanted to see what I read about. And I mean, some of it was in the comic, so not all of it was like completely surprising, but like Austin said, it wasn't exactly mind blowing. It was just really fun to watch. I mean, it was very short, but like it kind of introduced all the important characters like Cole, Zane, Jay, Kai, all that fun stuff. And I really enjoyed it, seeing all those characters. And if I'm being real with you, it's really what got me to start watching Ninjago's the pilot episodes. I mean, look, I never finished the series back then. Like only recently I finish it, but it was still like really enjoyable to watch, and it really got me into Ninjago in the first place. So I liked the pilot episodes, and I loved seeing the golden weapons. Those were really cool.
Yeah, the golden weapons were a lot of fun. You know what? That also brings up a question. I really should have asked this before we started talking about season 0. But how did you guys get into the show itself, Austin? Tell people how you got into the show, man.
Yeah, man, I got into the show because, like I said earlier, Ninjoid basically made me watch it.
Yeah, you did. You made
That's
me
it.
watch it too.
That's it. That's really all it is. I'm just gonna be honest. That's literally all it is. I pass.
Yeah, because for me, dude, I saw, again, like I said, I was only watching the show because I wanted to do my homework and I had to have something play in the background so I would be able to focus. I hate being in a room with absolutely no noise, so I literally had to play something in the background, and I ended up playing Ninjago, and I really never paid attention to it back then. And I got up to, I think, season 5, and I stopped watching the show because I thought the show ended, and I kind of cut the cable and stopped watching TV after that. Then I met Ninjago, and he's like, "Have you seen season 6?" I'm like, "There's no season 6! Holy, oh my God, there's season 6! Now I have to watch 60 plus seasons after that." But yeah, Army Initiative. How did you get into the show, man? Pretty much the same way we did.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, like recently, yes. The only reason I ever got back into watching the stuff in the first place was because Seth was like, "You're how many seasons?" Because like it was actually when I had my ex-girlfriend dump me, which I'm sure my fans that are in the chat know well enough about that. So I hop on with Nindroid, right, on StreamYard, and he's just hanging out with Blake watching Ninjago. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "We're binge watching the series. Do you want to join?" I'm like, what did I miss? The pilot episodes. Okay, well, I've seen those 1,000 times. I'll do it. I'll join it. I'm the only one who joined willingly. I didn't get forced into this like you guys.
Yeah, we got forced into it. But
yeah, you guys got held at gunpoint.
Shoutouts to Star Wars Network. He should be here later on to actually talk Ninjago with us.
Yeah.
Austin's not gonna be able to stay completely, but Ninjoid will be here around like in an hour or so. So yeah, he'll be able to give his stuff too. We'll give him a chance to talk about it. With that said, I don't know where the heck Blake is, but let's go ahead.
I think Blake is eating right now.
Yeah, most likely. But with that said, it's funny because I literally just got done eating my pizza, guys. That's literally why I had my camera turned off for a little bit there because I kept on just eating my pizza. But with that said, guys, season 1 of Ninjago, one of my absolute favorite seasons of the show. Guys, what did you think of season 1 and all of the snake? Where did I want to go with that joke? Snake-tastic story that was there. That was terrible. But go ahead, Austin. Go ahead and tell people what you thought of that season 1.
Yeah. So again, gonna keep my thoughts brief here. Because again, it's like I've talked about Ninjago ad nauseum, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go into too much detail. There's a reason why season 1 is in my top 5 seasons. I mean, it is a very, very strong start to the show. I mean, it kind of expands on the pilots, which it should have, and you have all these established characters already, but you're adding the Green Ninja in there. And yes, the whole twist with Lloyd being the Green Ninja, like that was kind of predictable because it wouldn't make sense for any of the other characters to be, since you've already established what their color and element power is. But it works, and especially having Lloyd start off as to be like this little bratty villain, but then sort of like as it progresses, like starts to realize like, oh shit, now I got to be a hero now. Like it's a really, really interesting character arc, and like you had a lot of character moments in the season 2, I believe, where you have Cole had an episode with his dad, and then you had Zane having the episode where we find out, oh, he's a robot. Like you have so many of these episodes and core ideas that they bring in to and a lot of these things are expanded upon in later seasons. Like you have the whole dynamic between Wu and Garmadon. You have the snakes. You see a bunch of snakes throughout the show, which at points it's like, oh my god, can we stop with the snakes? Especially when they start doing a lot of stupid stuff with snakes. But they just have the tools and it works. Again, like visually, does it look as good now? Yes and no. Like it looks okay, but it's definitely not as good as like seasons 8 through whatever.
That's true. The show definitely
But
improved its CGI.
but it still looks good now, and overall, it was a good start. I liked it.
Yep. With that said, before we move on to Steven's thoughts about season 1, Blake, what did you think about season 0, and how did you get into the show, my friend?
Well, I kind of got into the same show. It was just with Seth. He ended up wanting me to
Yeah, we
watch
talked
it, and
about
I just
that.
kind of like, I was
you
just
did
kind of
this.
like, okay, sure, I'll watch this. And I had my issues at first, with the whole thing being Lego, but then when I actually watched it, it turned out not so bad. It turned out not so bad, especially with like the lessons and stuff like that. Now I can't recall the specific season yet because I mean obviously we just got
Yeah,
done
you
and it's
just
fresh off my
yeah.
head, but there was one season where there was just every single episode there was a nice lesson to go along with it, and I really liked when they did that followed by a whole bunch of things like epic character development by characters like Garmadon and Lloyd, seeing them kind of go from bad to good, back and forth kind of, which is really nice seeing that little anti-hero action. You always got to love that. So that's kind of my
Yep.
thoughts on that.
Yep. What about season 0, dude?
Oh yeah, I probably should have talked about that.
No, go
Season
ahead.
0, it was pretty good. I liked the whole thing with the start with, and it was pretty interesting. Kind of looking back at season 0, like just seeing the whole thing, Kai back at the little furnace thing. It's like, oh crap, they've been doing like forging this whole time, when like secretly that whole thing under beneath with the whole like weapon and then like the whole plot twist and stuff like that. It was great, but I did like the beginning though. It was a nice start, so that's why I liked it. It was a good start for it. That's kind of my thoughts on that, at least.
Okay, so we just started talking about season 1. Austin already did. Let's go ahead with you, Blake, since you're still going. What did you think about season 1 of Ninjago?
It was good, that was with the Serpentine, right? Because that
Yep.
was that was all the way,
And the Great Devourer and all of that. No,
wonderful. And
season 1's great.
that was great, reflecting also kind of jumping back to like a later season. That was great knowing, that big plot twist that the Crystal King had that entire thing. That just looking back at that was
great, yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that was great. But no, I didn't mind it, I mean, I kind of found it like not annoying, but I kind of found it that they, after that season, they kind of used them pretty much like every season. So it did get a little bit repetitive at one point, but then it kind of like it started making sense after. It's just, I know it kind of got repetitive at one point, but the season itself, it was great. You got to see all the different types of Serpentine. I mean, you got to see the most powerful. Oh my
It's okay.
god.
Well, I was kind of telling the boy while we were watching the
The
show.
whole thing with the chicken, yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
you were in the crap.
Yeah, I had to mention that. And of course, as soon as I mentioned that, I was about to get into my thoughts.
Dude, that's something that we'll talk about in a little bit, but the humor of the show is just epic. It's especially with that
Well, you
chicken
got to
stuff.
see the chicken literally in every single episode of like season 16. That was the funny point. Like, you
Yep.
got to see every single season, at least like one scene.
Long live the
Popping
chicken.
his face
Long
up.
live the chicken.
Yeah, and so
Uh,
I did. That was great. But other than that, back to the season 1 stuff. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the whole thing with the multiple Serpentine and the whole thing with wasn't it collecting Fang Blades? Wasn't it?
Yep, it
Now,
was
obviously,
Fangblades.
obviously, that's kind of like a recurring thing inside each and every season where you gotta collect this, collect that. but I
Season
don't
1
mind
pretty
that.
much set up all of that. It's pretty
Yeah.
much a setup season, but it's very well done. Very
It was
entertaining.
nice though because I like seeing them play like back and forth, like trying to take the weapons. It's kind of like gimme type thing, and I really like that. It's really nice. So it's kind of like it's really nice. You also got to see You also got to see a little bit. Didn't you also get to see a little bit with Garmadon at least? I think it was a little bit. right?
A little bit, but not very much. Really, he didn't come in until season 2.
Was season 2 with the skeletons with the betrayal?
I know that Garmadon came in like the back half of season 1. I think he was in it. I do know that, but he wasn't like a prominent character until like
Yeah.
season 2. Like he had a major
Yeah.
role in season 1, but it was more or less a smaller-ish role. But he still was in it quite a
because
bit.
he was already defeated by the pilot episode. So.
Yeah, but then he came back,
I
and
forgot
then
about that. Yeah.
and then Lloyd was like, "Oh, Dad, you're back." And then he's like, "Yeah, son." And then he's like, "Oh, but I gotta fight you now because it's destiny or whatever." And then he's like,
Yeah, and that
"Oh
was
yeah,
great.
that's
Just the Darth Vader feel and the kinetic action of the two. It's basically the story of Luke and Darth Vader told through Ninja in a different way. It's like a what if of Star Wars almost with Ninjago. It's kind of fun, actually.
Great way.
That's something else I really like about the show because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. But with that said, Army Initiative, your thoughts on season 1, bro, if you're there.
All right. So what I loved about season 1, there's a few things. First off, I mean, back then the villains seemed a lot more better than they were.
Yeah.
At that point, it was like, oh my god, snakes with mind powers and spitting venom stuff. Like, wow. And then you watch Crystallize and like, bro, they're boring. So like, yeah. But I mean, at this for an introduction to a show, that's the whole reason I watched Ninjago in the first place when I was like 7 years old. Obviously, it's not the reason I watched it recently. I watched it because Seth forced me to. But back then, I have to say, I love seeing Scales beat up the general. I love seeing Pythor get karma at the end of the season. And I just like the character development, like watching the characters do their own thing. And it was a great way to introduce a show, especially one for like kids, and have like all that cool action, all that cool fight scenes. It's just a good show. And then at the end with the Great Devourer, my expectations were pretty much actually exceeded. I did not expect some of the stuff that happened, but it was good. And I love seeing the skeleton army beat up the snake army. I like seeing that. It kind of gave me Avengers Infinity War vibes for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I gotta say.
All right, so with season 1 out of the way, we go to actually one of my favorite seasons of the show. I'm not even kidding. Season 2, to me, for the longest time, was my absolute favorite season of the show. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm a major Star Wars fan and the conflict of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, aka we got Garmadon and his son, the Forces of Destiny. The entire world ends on this stupid fight, and then we have Palpatine, aka the Overlord, coming in and messing all up, trying to take over Darth Vader's body. Yeah, we have all of that. It's tons of fun, and I really enjoy the storytelling. Not to mention the character development that Lloyd goes through in this season. It's without a doubt just fun to watch. It really is fun to watch this character grow from a child, which, yeah, even though he's in like an 18-year-old body, he's still a child. And to see this child literally have to go through all this and grow with that child is great. But the Austin, what did you think about season 2?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I agree with you, Dylan. It was a good season, but I'm not as big of a season 2 fan as you are. I still prefer season 1 over season 2. And mainly just due to the first half of the season. I think it's very slow. It definitely, and that I understand why, but at points it starts to get really fillerish. I'm just like rolling my eyes at points like
There were some filler episodes.
it's like, oh, come on, like let's pick it up. And then once it did, and once it really got going, it was great. Like seeing Overlord was really cool. There's like a running joke that there was a joke that was really funny to me where like it was Garmadon on the ship and he's like, all right, we got the gold weapons. What do we do with them? And then they're like, what do we do? And then they're like, how about a poisonous ham sandwich or a ham sandwich? He's like, wait, why would we do that? And then they're like, because I'm hungry. And then he kicks him off. And then like someone else said, let's resurrect the Great Devourer. And
He just kicks him off.
Like that stuff's really funny. And yeah, the character development with Lloyd is great, and him becoming the Golden Ninja was kind of cool too. I mean, this season was great. Like personally, this is one of those instances where you could have ended the show here, and I would have been fine with it. But yeah, it's just that first half is what kind of makes me go, like, but it's still a good season though. I still liked it.
Yeah. We're still going to talk about season 2 with Blake, but you know what? Just because we keep on mentioning it, all four of us does, the humor of the show, it's really funny because you could say the humor is kind of childish, and it's kind of a bunch of reoccurring jokes that when you're like, oh, that's funny because it connects to this, and it's just, but I'm telling you what, the way the show is actually written with in the humor is actually really well done, and even though it's kind of ridiculous jokes, and again, I don't like all the humor in Ninjago, I really don't, but I gotta say that at least I would say 80-90% of the time, the jokes hit in the show. What do you guys think about the humor of the show? Awesome.
Yeah, the humor. I'm not, again, this is something I'm not really going to comment much on because I haven't seen a lot of these seasons back in like a while, but the humor, like some of it is good, but there are also points where I do feel like the humor is a little too much, and it does break. Like, but I feel like the one thing that I respect about the humor is that they know like it's kind of silly, and they know like not to take themselves to the point of serious to where it's like, oh my god, I'm watching The Dark Knight,
And they
but
don't take
Lego
it too
form.
serious.
But they have a good balancing of it, because when you see a show like this, you're like, ugh. Like, it's going to be so silly. It's going to be stupid jokes. But no, actually, they're pretty well thought out, though. So
Yeah, it's funny that Ninjago usually does nothing but parodies and then jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes. But this show actually isn't like that at all. It's really creative, actually.
Yeah, it is. That's really all I got to say about it, though.
Jake, what do you think of, Blake. Blake, what do you think of the humor of the show, man? Oh, you know what? Your name's...
No, you're fine. You're not the first person who's done that, so it's like, it is what it is, you know. I actually really liked it, like the humor. It's okay. I mean, there's points where it's good and bad. Mainly the good points. I mean, you heard the whole thing with the chicken. That was great with me.
That was great with the dude.
I
I
love
remember
the
when that chicken first showed up. It's like Master Wu was sitting here. He's like, "Oh, all ninja must face this one super hard test once in their life and defeat this thing." And we're all thinking, "Oh my god, it's gonna be this awesome super beast that the ninjas are just going to get destroyed by." He opens up the cage and runs up the door, and a chicken just comes out. That's the humor of the show, man. But every joke pretty much lands. Army Initiative, what do you think about the humor of the show, bro?
You mean the season 2?
I'm talking about just the humor in general of the show.
Humor in the show, bro. The chicken on God, the golden age of the humor. Like the moment that absolute sexy creature landed in that show, just carried it throughout the whole season, made it so many appearances in the episode, even though Seth was like, oh, he only shows up like twice. And like shows up in every episode, and it's like the chicken is literally the main character, dude. Like
Yes.
And the jokes, I guess they were decent. I mean, sometimes I laughed, sometimes I didn't, mainly because they kept trying too hard half the time, and it just wasn't that funny. So like, I guess you could say it's pretty funny. I mostly like the humor, except for like once or twice. Yeah.
With that said, go ahead and start talking about season 2, Army Initiative.
Okay. Season 2 started horribly, ended great. The first part with Garmadon doing the golden weapons constantly, it literally felt like I was watching a, like, what is that one show called? Miraculous. Or or PJ Masks. Literally just a villain repeatedly creating the same thing over and over again for the ninja defeat. It's like watching that really bad show Miraculous on Netflix. Oh, let me just create a copy of you. Oh crap, they defeated that Miraculous. Oh, let me just create this giant dude. Yeah, you beat that. Okay, next episode. Let me just do the same exact thing and hope it works this time. Like
Pirates.
Like, pirates, brilliant. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, giant skeleton. Okay, the one with the giant skeleton was good because then he actually like Lloyd became an old like teenager. That was actually worth watching. But like overall, I think it was a good season at the end. The Overlord will always be my favorite villain and the easiest to impersonate. And I'm not going to do my impersonation on live because that is embarrassing. And I also have a cold. But yeah, Overlord, best villain ever. Not gonna even lie. I absolutely loved him. And the way he went out made me say El Bozo, though. Not gonna lie at the end.
Yep. So go ahead and give your thoughts on season 2, Blake.
Like everyone else said, I know it started off weak, ended strong, which is kind of how most of them kind of work. I mean, not all of them, but that's how good decent amount of episodes work. I mean, wasn't that the point where they first? I mean, obviously due to the season title name, where they first like learned about the legend of the Green Ninja. Well, the whole thing with that is
well, no, that's only season 1, but yeah.
Was that season 1?
That was season 1 technically, but yeah, you're not far off. Season 2 was basically the Garmadon stuff.
Yeah, that's why I was going to say was what I was going to say is the stuff after that, the whole like bickering stuff between that. I mean, I thought that was it's one of those things where I get it, but I didn't really like it because it was like it was kind of like one of those childish things, which they do have to implement obviously since it is like meant to be that kind of show, but it is what it is. It is logical though. I mean, so
yep.
Do I have anything else to really think about it? I did like multiple of the twists. Is this the part where we got to see was this the ending with the Great Devourer, right? Or am I
No, that was season 1. That was season 1.
Okay.
Season 2 was
I'm just trying to think of the
season
Overlord.
2 was the Overlord.
Well, I do like the whole thing how this is why I'm going to say that I found cool. I do like that they introduced the Overlord so early as per season 2, and they just kind of let it drag out. And I like how they introduced all the villains. Like, once they introduced them, they always reintroduce them, if that makes any sense. But, like, we're over here, and then once we hit season 16 Crystallize, we're like, okay, so we saw all of these enemies, like, repeatedly over and over. Like, it was repetitive. Like, not in a bad way, but a good way. And I'm like, when are we going to get to see the Overlord, Hit season 16, it gives us exactly what you want. Exactly what we want, And so that's why I like the feeling of that they actually introduced him super early, because that they had it planned. Like, they didn't just randomly start like just you know that they had a plan. They didn't just sit there and randomly just smack random ideas down. Like, especially with the buildups of and starting
some of them they didn't have plans with. I don't think so.
Some of them they didn't, but I feel like this they did, because if you look over every single season, starting with season 2, you got to see the whole thing with the Venge Stone and stuff like that. Like, Venge Stone mentioned, you got to see. I mean, there was multiple
from season 11 to 15. Yeah, that was great. But
those are basically most of my thoughts of how I feel about that.
Yep, but going into now season 3, Army Initiative lost Wi-Fi for a second. Once he gets his power back, he'll be on. That's what he says down in the chat. But with that said, going on to season 3. Oh boy, season 3. Probably one of the best seasons of the show, hands down. I haven't really talked that much about Lloyd. I'm sorry, Lloyd. Zane Zane is a fantastic character. One of the best things about Zane, and I talk about him like he's my favorite character. He's honestly not. Lloyd is my favorite character, but Zane is such a really interesting character because there's that whole question of him. How human is he, considering he's a droid and yet he's the most human character on the show itself? It's actually really interesting, and this season was pretty much a Zane season. I enjoy season 3 so much. We get to learn a lot about Zane, where he comes from, and how being a ninja affects him, as when he meets Pixel, and how that relates to him, and how he. What powers Zane? That's a question that is always asking me. I say what powers Zane is soul, and once he is able to share that soul with Pixel, it's just great. Plus, Zane and Pixel are the best ship in the show, absolutely. But with that said, Austin, what do you think about season 3, man?
Oh yeah, season 3 is one of my favorite seasons of the show. Other than the stupid love triangle between Nia, Cole, and Jay, I felt the season was phenomenal. I feel like this was again a great continuation of the show. I liked seeing Sensei Garmadon. I like the explanation for why Roy loses his gold powers, because let's be real, if he kept his golden powers throughout the show, none of the show would really happen. So it was nice seeing him get rid of the powers. Seeing Overlord again, Pixel introducing her was great. Zane as a character throughout the season, and plus the sacrifice was terrific as well. Like, this whole season worked. And I personally, but this is like my only real nitpick. I prefer the ninja to have like the actual hoods on their face instead of like just like the bottom of like their face.
Yeah, I didn't really like that either. Just
like
a mask.
in season 4, it kind of worked because they also had like the sleeveless shirts, which it looked better there. But when you have like the full on garb and then just like the bottom of your face, it looks weird to me. But other than that, I really liked it.
They literally only kept changing their designs just to sell the toys. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of look at it, I'm like, yeah, maybe they should have changed them maybe 2 or 3 times, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal throughout the series, but they change them every season because they're just trying to sell the Lego toys, which I guess, okay.
Well, I mean, at the very least, though, at least every single new season you get to expect, it's kind of like it's a type thing where it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see this. I wonder
Yeah,
how
the new
they're.
design.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things to look forward to. So then it's like one of those things that for a fact that's going to happen that might be potentially good.
Yeah. All right, man. So, what did you think about Rebooted, dude? Season 3. Like,
I actually liked it a lot. I really like Cyrus Board. I actually really enjoyed Cyrus Board because before, like, up to this point, I think the only actual like tech person we had, to my knowledge, was, I guess you can technically consider Zane a tech person, kind of, but he doesn't really invent.
no, it was really Nia, actually.
Well,
Was the
that's
tech
what I was
person.
going to say. That's what I was about to mention. I was about to mention Nia. For some reason, I mentioned Zane first because I thought he was a robot. But yeah, I was going to mention Nia too, with the whole making of the samurai axe and stuff like that. And so, other than like those two, you didn't really have any other like tech people. You just had mainly like elemental ninjas and stuff like that. And so, it was nice to get to see it was nice to get to see technology, and how they incorporated it with this big idea you already have with all the spinjitzu, the elemental stuff. Like, it's another thing to throw into the pot that I feel like it was in a good way implemented, though. I really liked the way that they incorporated tech into it, and I also like the fact that Zane literally gave Pixel half of his heart, quite literally. So that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I actually like their little couple thing they got going on. It's real. It's they're like Dylan said. I mean, that's one of my favorite relationships there. I mean, other than that, I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Overall, it was great, you know.
Yep. All right, guys. Now we get on to what. Now this is actually really funny because I remember hating this season so much, but believe it or not, after rewatching some of the show, I didn't get to see all the show with Blake and Android and the guys here, but I did get to see some of the show. And after rewatching some of season 4, I actually have realized that I used to be a little too hard on season 4. I actually don't think season 4 is the worst season of the show anymore, which is amazing. But I am not the biggest fan of Chen, which is really funny because so here's the thing. It's weird with me, but I'm really big into humor. But the thing is, when it's just too much humor, I'm kind of like out of it. And while I normally like villains to be humorous, like the Joker or something like that, in a show where it's already all jokes, I like the villains to be a little bit more serious. And then he brought in Chen, and he just was too funny of a character to me. I really didn't like it. I liked the story with Lord Garmadon here, but I was not necessarily a season 4. And don't even get me started on the ninja powers. Look, before it used to be elemental powers: fire, water, ice, air. We have energy, which is another form of powers. But now we have, okay, metal makes sense. But now we have invisible powers, fast powers. Oh, and guess what? I can steal your powers. Like, I'm sorry, I did not like that. Oh boy, I'm not the biggest fan of season 4. But Austin, go ahead and tell what you thought about season 4. I know you do not agree with me there.
Yeah, no, I do disagree with you, Dylan. I actually like the season, but I do see where you're coming from with Chen, though, because looking back at it now, he isn't he's definitely not better than Overlord or Garmadon as a character. And I do agree, like, if you're gonna have a more comedic tone, you should have something there to be a bit more serious to kind of like balance it out a little bit. I didn't think he was that bad. Like, I still liked him, but he was fine for what they were going for. Like, he was fine for the season. Like, if it was any other one, I don't think he would have worked out as much. I still enjoyed him. I still enjoyed the season overall. The Zane stuff again was great. I like the tournament aspect. I still think killing Sensei Garmadon off this early was a little weird, but yeah, I still liked it overall. I mean, I still think season 3 is a lot better, but season 4 was good.
Okay, Blake, what about you, man? What did you think about season 4?
I thought it was okay, you know. I'm kind of in the middle because I know I definitely had my problems with Chen as well. I mean, he was a little bit too comedic with. I mean, I liked the joke though, like especially with the whole thing with the buttons. I did like the joke. That was pretty cool with the buttons. But I feel like they applied it to the wrong character, in my opinion. Why would you take a main villain and make this whole big joke with him, you know? It kind of makes him into, I want to say a clown, but that's kind of too strong of a word, you know? So I wasn't the biggest fan there. Now, as to when it comes to the different powers, I actually didn't mind that as much. I liked seeing more of a variety other than like the basic couple. So I actually kind of like that part. I did like Sensei Garmadon. I I am quite upset that the fact that they kind of come off so early because I really liked him as a character. He was really nice. He was actually one of my favorite characters overall. And I also like seeing that the fact that, and it's really nice. You get to see the one episode on the lesson that he taught on. I don't know the exact wording, but it was where fighting without fighting. I really like seeing that because when you first saw that, it was like, what in the world is going on here? You know, it's like, what is this? Why am I watching this? You know, and then a few seasons later, you get to see the whole thing with Lloyd while he's fighting Garmadon, like avoiding him and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that makes a little bit sense. And it kind of makes you really appreciate that season, where I mean, it makes me appreciate it because it's like not only did he destroy Garmadon with his own trick, but it's just that the fact that that's one of those things I mentioned earlier about like they had a purpose for doing it. They didn't just like slap stuff on. They had a plan for that portion. They they knew that that was going to come into play later, and so that's why they did it, and that's why I really liked that. But overall, I thought it was okay. It had its ups and downs. It's kind of like it's neutral on my end. That's all I really have to say about that.
All right, and moving on to the last season that I actually watched before I stopped watching the show until I picked it up again with my buddy Ninjroid. Season 5 of Ninjago, which actually literally has my absolute favorite intro of the show. This part of the season to me, this part of the series to me is actually some of the best of the show in my opinion. No, it's not my favorite season, but Moro is a great villain. I really enjoy the ghostly green aspects they add to the show, and it was just fun. It was interesting and different from anything the show's done at that point. So, Austin, what did you think about season 5, man?
Definitely the more one of the more underrated seasons, I feel. Yeah, again, very good. I agree with the moral thing. This is like another season where again a lot of these seasons I again with the show in general I haven't seen in like so long. But the moral thing was cool. There was like the Archer Ghost, which was kind of fun. I believe this was the season where Nia got her water powers, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. So that was kind of cool.
Which
Um,
that's a big debate I have to talk about personally because honestly, I don't mind Nia gaining water powers and becoming a female ninja, but there was that whole stupid joke, and it's true. She's just the female ninja of the team. What makes her special? She has water powers, and then later on in the show, she's like, "Well, if I lose my water powers, then I lose everything about myself." No, I don't want to lose my power, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, you literally turned Nia one of the best female characters since probably Princess Leia to me, and just the girl on the show. And I'm sorry, she was so much more than that to me. She was literally Samurai X. She was smart. She built a Samurai X suit. She was out there fighting, even though she didn't have a special power. She was the normal person on the team, still willing to throw in the fight for the good of people. And guess what? She was a good female character. I actually think one of the worst things they could have done was give Nia her powers. At the same time, though, season 16 was epic, and I really enjoyed what they did with Nia's character. But that is something that is like a huge debate with me, because at one hand, I really like Nia with her powers, but on the other hand, for the rest of the writing of Nia's character, she literally just became the girl of the show, and they really didn't give her much to do, which is something I didn't like. But what about you, Austin? What do you think about that debate? Since you brought up her powers.
Personally, I don't really care. I thought,
Yeah.
I mean, she was a good character regardless. So I'm like, giving her water powers was kind of cool. I guess. I mean, sure, especially when like in the later seasons, like it kind of adds. It's like it's good. I liked it. I'm not gonna go too much in depth with it. I mean, I just liked it, and the season 5 was good.
Yep. Blake, what about season 5, dude? What did you think about?
Um, I thought it was all right. Like I mentioned, as you mentioned before, the intros were solid. Like I feel like the intros from seasons like it's either 5 through 7 or 8. Those, in my opinion, were the strongest intros ever. Those were my favorite. There's nothing that can top them. Those were just great. And another thing that kind of you also get to see now. This wasn't pointed out to me, and I actually didn't notice this till season 6. But the whole thing with the intros as well is they actually kind of guide you toward what's actually going to happen throughout the season. If you
That's
like,
true.
yeah, if
If
you
you pay
actually
attention.
look into it, yeah, if you pay attention. I mean, you obviously can't just pick apart an intro and be like, okay, I know what's happening this season. But
No.
if you go back and look at the intro after watching the whole season, it's like, oh crap, these are actual
That's how
clues,
that
you know?
actually connects. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
how
a
that
lot of
actually
fun.
worked.
It's a
And
lot
so
of fun,
that
especially with season 5 with the it's still Ninjago music, and yeah, Rebuild kind of had a new twist to the sound, but season 5 really went heavy with the ghost theme and them out in the middle of nowhere, looking like they're about to go to a spooky little building or something, and the music and the vibe of the show and the colors, it just all fit. The season 5 intro literally is my favorite intro, and that's why in my intro to this very video, you guys actually see where at the end when it goes to Ninjago. I used the season 5 clip for that intro because my god, that's such a great intro with Lloyd and all of that. I love season 5's intro. But with that said, Blake, is there anything more you want to talk about season 5?
there was one other thing I'd like to mention, which now you can probably correct me on this if I'm wrong, but this is like my whole thing. At During the end, you got to see Moro actually turn good, and that was nice, you know. But now I can't recall the specific season or what, but I remember like a season like after that, like him turning evil or something like that. Do you
Yeah.
know when that was?
So that was technically not a season. That was indeed the a special with Cole.
So that's a special. Okay, so
Austin, what was the name of that special? I can't remember it. Yeah, The
It-
Departed, something like that.
Day
Day
of
of
the
the
Departed,
Departed.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah. So was that before or after season 5? I can't. I think
It was after season
after
6.
season
yeah.
6.
It was
Oh,
Yeah.
after season
okay.
6. It wasn't even.
So
Yeah.
that kind of further proves my point. What I was going to say. So I really liked the whole thing how he was turning good, but I actually didn't like how they later ended up turning him bad because I feel like that destroys like the impact
His
of him turning
character,
good.
right, and his
Yeah,
impact. Yeah.
yeah. It's like it just destroys it completely demeanors like the impact that it had on this. It was like, oh yeah, was that like was that not even was that him just like putting on a front, like at that point it just kind of it has you questioning that act, of him supposedly being good. And I don't like that. That's one thing that I really didn't like about the season. Other than that, I really did I enjoyed the whole thing. I like the whole spooky thing, it kind of it kind of puts you on a different path compared to the other seasons. It's its own very turn. I really enjoy the difference between them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yep. Well, with that said, we're going to get into season 6 next, and let me tell you, season 6. This is such a crazy thing. So I personally, from season 1 through 5, I hated the character of Jay. Why? Actually, now that I look back on it and rewatch some of the early seasons, I'm like, okay, Jay's actually not that bad. I wish I wasn't that hard on him in the beginning of the show. But honestly, um, Jay's just annoying. He always gives off kind of the worst jokes of the show. I prefer Cole to be the funny one because Cole actually had some funny lines in the beginning of the show. Cole or Kai. Jay was a little bit like his jokes never landed with me for the longest time, and literally he wasn't like the worst character of the show, but I would say out of all the ninja characters, Jay was my least favorite ninja. And then season 6 came and literally just changed all of that. Maybe it's because I'm a sucker for the whole romance story, but I really enjoy Jay. I really enjoy the whole story with Nia and Daniel. What's his name? Nagakai. What's Austin Nagakai? Is that his name?
Not a con.
Not thank you. The genie dude. The genie was epic. It was fun dealing with him, and just it was an interesting twist on the whole genie storyline as well. With him not being able to make powers for himself, but the reason why he wants to do is so he can basically control all of Ninjago, all of the worlds, and because of what everyone's done to his home world. He wants to take over Ninjago and make that world the new genie world. I really enjoyed season 6. With that said, what did you think of season 6, my buddy Austin?
So, season 6 is a season that I feel like originally I was like, it was okay, but it definitely, because the ending to me is what really got me, because it was like, well, at that point, why did I bother watching the entire season if it's going to be completely undone? But I think after time really passed and really looked back on it, I'm like, no, it worked. It made sense. It's a season that got better for me. It's not like my all-time favorite season, but for what it was very unique with the whole Notakon genie thing and seeing how each ninja just like kind of like how they ended up losing to Notakon, but Jay had to come in and do the whole thing. Like that, it worked. It worked for me. I liked it.
Okay, Blake, it's your turn. What did you think of season 6?
Season 6 is actually one of my top seasons. Actually, it's not like the top one, but it's one of the higher ones for me because there's just multiple things I enjoy. I mean, with the bonus of the intro being good as well. I mean, I really, really, really like the genie a lot. I like seeing him slowly getting kicking all the other ninjas' butts. Downright one of my favorite scenes in there is the whole chessboard game where they were sitting there playing chess and how Zane was like, you know what, I can take this guy on. Like he gained that just that subtle wave of confidence, And Pixel was like, no, don't do it. No, 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 no. And he was like, yes, 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 yes. And then he just yeah, I know, it was a little weird. But yeah, I like seeing that, and then him right at the end just get his butt kicked, and it was the greatest thing ever. Seeing that, just the expression on his face, it was nice. I also really enjoyed him as well. It's because seeing how smart he was, because usually when you look into kid shows, you don't see the smartest villains. In fact, they're actually pretty hard-headed, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard-headed, if you will, usually inside movies. I mean, even during the beginning of the movie, or not the movie, beginning of the TV show, the whole thing with the skeletons, how hard-headed they were, sitting there bashing each other upside the head, and how easily how easily they got their butts kicked, and so seeing that villain just sit there and be really smart and have his plan, and even the backstory. Oh my gosh, this was the first villain, or at least to my knowledge, other than Garmadon, this is the first villain, I'm pretty sure, now you can correct me on this, that has an actual backstory, not just a backstory, but a backstory where it's actually the ninja's fault, and so it's really nice seeing that motivation, the drive, and just seeing his way behind it. It's not just oh, I'm a bad guy. I destroy type of brute mentality. You get to see this smart, clever, has motivations for his stuff. You get to see all of that, and that's what I really like about that. And that's pretty much the whole big thing I have as to why I like season 6.
Yeah, season 6 is great. Not to mention that big battle at the end where Jay actually rounds up the other villains to fight Nikon as well. That was just so much fun. But with that said, guys, we are not here alone. Yes, behind stage, I told you guys he was going to show up eventually. Right at the time where we're just about to talk about season 7, the worst season of all time, actually, which is fantastic, dude. I am here with my buddy, Star Wars Network.
All right. What's up, guys? I had to pull out my sword for a minute. All right. Anyway, hey guys, how is everyone doing? I just got home, so this show, I'm gonna straight up say this is my favorite cartoon show of all time. Everyone should know that by now. So
This guy is the guy why we all watch this show. By the way, we talked about this.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was at work today, and I'm like, wait a second. When Dylan's gonna talk about how everyone got into it because of me. Like
that's true.
Austin got into it because of me. Blake got into it because of me, and
Steve got into it because of you.
Steven got into it because of me. So I'm like, it's just.
And I stopped watching after season 5. I got back into it because of you.
Yeah, exactly. And you didn't even remember anything, though, to be honest.
I did. Because I never really paid attention to the original show.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, everyone's just gonna repeat themselves. So everyone's gonna be like, okay, how the hell did this guy get into it? Which I'm gonna say, if I can bring up that PowerPoint, my friend,
Yeah. Oh god. But with that said, man, go ahead and tell people how you got into the show, dude. The floor is yours.
Okay, just hang on a minute. I gotta bring up my PowerPoint.
Yep.
Remember? So
You do, dude.
Let me add my PowerPoint right now to the screen real quickly. Also, how is everyone? I haven't talked to Austin in a little bit, so how are you, Austin? I'm doing all right. Okay.
I'm doing good. Blake, how are you doing, man?
I'm live,
Also, I'm gonna say, Steven, you better somehow fix it and you better come back. Anyway, so here's my history with Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu. By me. So, all right, let's go to the first slide. All right, can you share it? All right, so this is back in 2011. All right, so I'm gonna tell the story. So, this is gonna be a little bit longer. So I hope everyone's all right with that. All right.
Yep, just go up to season 6, man. How did you get into the show and go up to season 6, bro?
Okay. So 2011, I was annoying my stepfather at the time. I was asking him some questions about food. I asked him what what are we having for supper? And he said, stop being annoying. And he said, just go watch some TV. And he put on Cartoon Network. And it was December 2nd of 2011. So I was like, oh, okay. So he put on Cartoon Network. And the very thing that's shown is, Ninjago, season 1, episode 1, Rise of the Snakes. And the funny thing is, I fell in love with the show straight up, and then it was funny how I was asking about food after that first episode. I was asking, hey, can I watch the second episode? Like, where's the second episode? And then my stepfather came back. He said there is no second episode. I was like, when is the second episode coming out? and then thus the history of Ninjago began with me. All right, so now 2012, my first Lego set was actually because I was like telling how much of a fan I was of Ninjago, how much I loved just the one episode. I didn't even watch a single other episode at that point. I then got a J booster pack of 2012, but then the thing is, for Lego sets, the Winter Wave, which is supposed to be 2012, they released like a month early before 2012, like January. So anyway,
This was my first set. I got Jay's booster pack, which legit just came with the Jay minifigure, some cards, and then there was like a pamphlet full of other Lego sets. So I was like, oh, I want to go to Walmart and get more Lego sets. Okay, so then little did I know this guy started collecting, and these were my first 5 Lego Ninjago sets. My first one was Jay's jet right there. Then my second was the rattle copter, snake copter right there. My third was Kai's bike. Fourth was Lasha's bike, the serpentine bike. And then last was the Fang Pyre truck, which I loved. I loved these sets with my heart. Jay's jet especially because I played with that thing so much. Like Jay became my favorite ninja just because I got his minifigure first out of all the other ninjas. So yeah. Also, I was the only one who was laughing at all of his jokes in the earlier seasons, unlike Dylan. So yeah. And then my birthday came along, and this was the best birthday of all time. All right. I got the Destiny's Bounty, I got the Ultrasonic Raider, and I got the Green Ninja himself, Spinner, Lloyd Garmadon. Love it. Love it so much. Okay. Love this birthday. This birthday is my favorite birthday that I ever had. Okay? And this is saying something. This was back when I was in like first grade. Like, I haven't had a great birthday like this in a while. So, guess what? This means a whole lot to me. Ninjago does mean a whole lot to me. All right. Then season one's finale, The Rise of the Great Devourer and Day of the Great Devourer. I watched the finale the last night of moving. So yeah, so I actually was moving out of my house due to some family stuff that occurred. So then my last night of sleeping at my old family house, childhood home, was watching the season finale of season 1, Rise of the Snake. So that also does mean a whole lot to me right there. So then when I moved into my grandparents' house, this is when some good shit happened. So I'm actually wait, oh shit. How am I supposed to click on this? There's these videos are supposed to pop up. I don't know. I was gonna play some video. I was gonna play actually the old intro. Well, anyway, Legacy of the Green Ninja. I remember I used to watch it with my grandfather every single episode of season 2, at 8:00 p.m. Eastern time. I even remember he said, "If you don't study your math, if you don't do good on this math quiz, you won't watch Lego Ninjago." I remember he used that against me. And I was like, oh no, you know, I was like, no. And I remember one episode I actually missed because I because I was slacking off of my English homework. Yes, guys, the English guy, the English nuts guy who loves writing more. I was slacking off the one night and I missed Double Trouble and I had to watch it the next day after I got that done. Oh my god, that was so painful back then. Now it's nothing, but that was painful. Anyway, next up, Christmas of 2012. I actually got Garmadon's Dark Fortress from the pilot season and also the Golden Dragon from season 2. Love that Golden Dragon. I'm telling you what, my mom got that for me, and I mean that's special, honestly. Then 2013, nothing came out because we all thought Ninjago was done. 2014 rebooted. I actually did cry when Zane died. I will straight up admit that I actually did cry as a younger kid. I was actually a huge fan of Possession, and I really loved season 4, Tournament of Elements. But I did actually, when I was younger, not now, when I was younger, I hated Master Chen. Really. So I'm gonna talk about Master Chen then. 2016, I wasn't actually originally a huge fan of Skybound when I was young. Okay, I will straight up open up that. And Day of Departed felt weird, like there wasn't a lot of care put into it. Then 2017, Hands of Time sucked and almost gave up being a Ninjago fan. All right. And then here's some other old sets I had. Like here's the Nindroid Mech Dragon, Battle for New Ninjago City. I got that in 2014 Christmas. Love that set because I used to re-interact the Zane's death with Overlord and all that. Love that. There's the Kondrai Copter. I remember getting that set because I needed to complete my villain collection and I needed Master Chen. And that was one of the few sets that had Master Chen. So I needed all the main villains from every single season. Then there's the Moro Dragon from Season 5 Possession. And then, well, there's the Lego Ninjago movie, but we haven't talked about that yet. So I guess now I'm going to unpull this up. And now I'm going to actually just talk about my thoughts on every single season thus far. Okay, pilots. I really like the pilots. They're not the best things ever, but I like how they tell a simple story. And I do like how they're actually labeled as the pilots and not season 1, episode 1. Then we get to Rise of Snakes. Rise of Snakes is my childhood. Rise of Snakes will always be my childhood. Love Rise of Snakes so much. Okay, Austin. Okay, so then season 1, I felt like was good. I love Pythor as the main villain. Zane, the episode where Zane found out about himself, TikTok was great. Cole's episode with his father was great. Jay's episode where he kissed Nia was great. All the Unlocking True Potential episodes was great. I loved season 2, the final half. First half, I felt like was boring, and I felt like that's what really, in my ranking, which I know we're not at the ranking yet, it's kind of low. It's not up. Then season 3 Rebooted. I love Rebooted. Rebooted is amazing. And if you don't like Rebooted, then I have some problems with you. But that is okay. The Overlord in that season, the Golden Master Overlord is badass. All right, I'm telling you what. I love Overlord in that season. I love Zane in that season. I love Pixel. The only problem also Pythor being the mysterious, person. At the time, that was outstanding. I love that they brought back Pythor, okay, in that season. As well as I love the Digiverse. I love the Technoblades. I love all that. Great crap right there. Great storytelling. Even them going up in space and all that. Love that. And then Zane's sacrifice at the end. Mwah, perfect. Thank you so much, Ninjago. Thank you, the Heyman brothers. Then we get to season 4, Tournament of Elements. This season, I love it even more now. That's the thing. Like I get it. Dylan and Blake, they are not the biggest fans of season 4. I really like season 4 quite a bit. I love how it reminds me of Mortal Kombat. I love the entire tournament, and I love that this season, like, so many people are like, well, what season, who's actually the main character of the season? I actually think it's Garmadon. All right, because Garmadon gets the most character development out of this entire season. We find out about his origin story with Master Chen and Klaus. I love Klaus and Chen. I actually like that he's kind of a psychopathic, narcissistic man who doesn't give a shit about his own daughter. He says, "Oh, if you're killed, I don't give a shit. I just want to be turned into a snake." Which, guess what? The writing of how they use snake skin in that season was pretty good. The Anaconda and all that was great. Also, Garmadon's sacrifice was really well done, and I really love that Lloyd actually said Moro's name, and that's what allowed Moro to be broken free. And then we find out in season 5, Moro is out. Love that completely. Possession was great. Great world building. Love the introduction to realms and more. Then we get season 6, and this is the season which I've actually warmed up to probably the most out of the about my original opinion. Season 6 to me is probably one of the most mature stories of all Ninjago. I love how they took my favorite character Jay and they made him an even better, more serious character. I love the love story between him and Nia. Him and Nia's chemistry in that season was great. Nauticon as a villain is outstanding for against a force against Jay. They use pirates again, but it's very unique, and you actually feel for most of the people, including like Flintlock, in that season, and I love it completely. And yeah, wait a second. Also, Dylan, did you forget Day of the Departed?
We did discuss that. We did mention that, but we didn't really go into much detail. So if you want to go into more detail about what Day of the Departed was.
Real quickly though, I love the ending of season 6. I love how everything's like turned back, and the only characters that remember the events are Nia and Jay. I love that because it's their story. It's not Kai's story. Kai doesn't do anything. Lloyd really doesn't do anything. None of the other characters really do anything besides them two and Nauticon, which I love that for that. Then Day Departed still disappoints me. I feel like that should have been kept as a season.
Could worked as a season.
Master Yang, it could have been the best season, to be fair. Master Yang to me was disappointing, and yeah, that's really all I can really say about that.
Cole always gets the shorthand of the stick, even though he's one of the best characters of the show. I don't know why that is.
All right, Austin, you can talk about season.
Yeah, Austin, go from season 7 all the way to 16. Give your thoughts on everything, as well as your favorite character and favorite villain.
Shit. Okay. Well, actually, fuck it. I'll just do it in the ranking form, since I know you guys have a ranking, and I'll just talk about all the seasons there. All right. I fixed it. All right. Season 7, which is actually my least favorite season of the show. It's fucking horrible. All right, moving on. The other season I don't like, season 11. Look, I don't care about the ice chapter, okay? It was fine. It's still shit. All right, moving on. Day of the Departed. It's fucking disappointing. I agree with you. It was just a 40-minute special, and the villains weren't even that impressive. Like,
no, that's true. On. That's true.
Number 15, Master of the Mountain. It was okay, all right? Don't let Ninjago fool you. It's not that bad. It's just so bland. It's so boring. That's it. That's all it is. That the pilots, they're just there. Like, they're fine. Like, just shut up. Then you have The Island. It's 4 episodes. Get over it.
That's 14.
That Seabound. It was an Aquaman season, okay? But it was still good. All right? It was fine. I liked it. I especially liked the part where like Ray and Kai were just sitting playing video games for half the season. That was pretty cool. Then there's Prime Empire, one of the better seasons of New Ninjago, because 11-minute run times. I totally love those. It's creative and unique. It was like Jumanji, the new Jumanji, not like the old one. Anyway, Skybound, I liked it. It warmed up to it, even though the ending still feels like it was nothing happened. All right, just leave it alone. Season 2. Look, I'll be honest. The first half was pretty rough, and it introduced Dareth, but god damn it, the second half was good. Then you have Possession, underrated. I liked it. I liked the Ghost. Turbulent Elements, my number 7. Look, I like Turbulent Elements. All right, it was good. The Turbulent Element's pretty cool. Hunted, I liked Hunted. All right, it was in my top 6, but the Dareth shit power thing kind of ruined it for me. It was really rough. Season 1, I liked. great. It was great. Season 3, I like. Crystallized. Fuck you, Crystallized haters. Okay, I think Crystallized is pretty good. All right, you're wrong if you think otherwise. Number 2, March Theone. Look, it's the best. It's the best one out of them. It's like it was the you could have just edited it here and it would have fine. Okay, and my number 1, Sons of Garmadon. It's the best. This is where the series peaked. All right, this is the best season of the show.
Season 8.
Garmadon versus Lloyd was fucking fire. Harubi was cool. I don't know. The season was great. All right, I'm not. And by the way, I'm not watching that new Ninjago shit. Okay, I'm done. I've retired from watching Ninjago. Fuck your stupid new Ninjago show. I will never be watching it again. Netflix, you fucking assholes. And I also would like to tell you here now that the Lego Ninjago movie is not canon. It is not going to be canon. It never was canon, and it will never be. So screw you, Lego movie.
Yeah, that movie exists. What's your favorite character and what's your favorite villain?
My favorite, you know what? My favorite character. My favorite character is the police commissioner. This man has to go through all this shit. And let me tell you, this man handles it with grace. He's like, oh, God, I just want to work on my ship. But, oh, the ninja keeps destroying the city with their shenanigans. But I guess I'm going to clean it up now because I'm the police captain. And, you know, for meme purposes, Dareth, look, I hated him in the first 10 seasons. But then by season 16, I missed the guy. He literally disappeared for 6 seasons. And then he came back. I'm like, yeah, Dareth's back. Yeah, let's go. Lloyd as a character, I like Lloyd. I like Zane. Cole's pretty cool. Kai's pretty bland and boring, especially in season 7, where he doesn't really do anything. Jay's fine. Nia's fine. I don't know. Wu's kind of an asshole because, like, literally every time something happens, it's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that I was involved in half of this stuff. So guess what? Clean up my mess too. And then he fell asleep for half a season in season 7. So you know what? Wu's not that cool. Garmadon, Overlord are my favorite villains of the show. Okay, because look, they're pretty cool. They look scary. You know, Garmadon kicked a guy off a boat once. He also shot somebody out of a volcano, which is not canon, but you know he's pretty cool. Overlord's pretty cool. Like it's all cool.
All right. Well, I think that's just about everything in terms of Ninjago from Austin. So I don't know how long you're gonna stay, Austin, but
no, I gotta leave now. I gotta leave now, guys. It's late.
Absolutely, you were absolutely. It's always a blast to have you on here, Austin. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Hello. Just find me everywhere. Dylan, thanks for having me on. I'll actually be on probably the whole time next time. Just tonight, not happening.
Yeah, I know.
But guys, check out my Letterboxd. I'm doing DCEU reviews. I'm gonna have my review out of Justice League tomorrow or later tonight. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I'll figure it out. Just leave me alone, guys. Okay, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring this out. All right. So yes, just check me out. Dylan, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yep,
I gotta
absolutely.
leave. So I'll probably listen in a little bit. But yeah, guys, that's it for me, guys. So later.
Yep. And for all those who are wondering what happened to Steve, his power went out. Yep, that's right. His power went out, so he's dead. He's not coming back.
Of course, tonight, alcohol thing.
We're going to need to
all night. Literally, he literally texted me. Someone literally hit his power line. Someone drove in with their car and hit the power line on the night that he needs to be here.
Well,
fantastic, but he's not coming back.
Okay, can I talk though a little bit now?
Yeah, man.
I know I missed like an entire hour of crap. That's why I was rushing. Like I wasn't trying to.
Oh, dude, we went up to 6 seasons, so we got 10 more seasons to talk about.
I know, but I do have some old nostalgia shit to show. All right,
awesome.
Let's talk about. I did order 2 spinners 2 classic spinners, which I did show some people backstage. All right, so here is classic 2011 Lord Garmadon from the Pilots spinner. These things were like $10 at the time, I'm pretty sure. Great nostalgia crap right there. These used to sell a lot. Right now, that Garmadon spinner is about like $30. So I mean, I gained an extra $20 in value. Then I do have my last spinner is Zane DX. This spinner is about $35 sealed. So yeah. So there's my 2 spinners, which I have there. Which actually I've been starting to collect Ninjago again, mainly because I actually kind of want to save some of these sets, not to actually sell. It's actually because I want to get some of these things. So then if I have a kid one day, they'll grow up with these toys all packaged and all that, like they will own it and all that. I'll make them become a Ninjago fan, raise them to be a Ninjago fan. Anyway, next up is gonna be my pilot's freaking blanket. Yeah, guys.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Ninjago blanket, guys. So this is of classic 2011 Ninjago for you. This blanket I've legit slept with since 2012, and it's still alive. That's impressive. Anyway, then my last thing I do want to show off for everyone is something that's very beat up, very poor, wherever the frick it is now. I don't know where the... Here, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Very beat up because, well, my dog got into it, and actually not my current dog, by the way. But, yeah, there's holes in this thing. This was an old Ninjago beach towel, as you guys can see.
In other words, guys, this guy's a fanboy.
Yeah, I am a fanboy of Ninjago. And guess what? Also, here's a classic Serpentine minifigure. One of the very few minifigures I still have from classic Ninjago. So, yeah. Also, here's Kai from season 11. And some other ones, which I'll just show in the meantime. But yeah, yeah, that's it. That's really all I have to say, Dylan. So are we gonna get in season 7 or what? Because I want to trash this goddamn season.
Yeah, we are just about to get into season 7. Okay, guys, you know what? I gotta take the reins on this one, guys. Season 7 is without a doubt the absolute worst trash Ninjago has ever produced. And if you are a season 7 fan, well, congratulations. I am not against you at all. But I really question your sanity. No, I'm legit. I'm joking, but I hate season 7, and it's really funny because I actually have been seeing a lot of Ninjago fans actually like season 7, and like I'm actually a really huge fan of time travel stories. Time travel is one of the biggest things. Like, if you do it correctly, time travel could be really interesting if done correctly. But it's a double-edged sword. If you don't do it correctly, it just ruins the whole series. And I'm telling you what, the time travel stuff makes no sense in this series. Why? Why does this season exist? And I am not alone on that, by the way. Blake, what did you think of season 7? Say something good about it, man. I dare you. I dare you.
Honestly, if you like anything about it, me personally, you should just step on a Lego. And I'm not talking about a Ninjago Lego. I'm not talking about Ninjago Lego. A Lego. Just step on it. Just like grab the closest Lego you can find. And step on it and rub your foot in it. I don't care. It was not good, especially the whole thing with the one especially the whole thing with the one main villain liking a freaking serpentine. Why? 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 Why?
It's so
Just why? Just why? Just no. Just I mean, it was not good. I mean, the whole thing as well with I know you get to see a lot of things with like stripping powers. I mean, I know we've seen that a couple times, and I mean, it is what it is. It's not a bad thing, but they did it in a horrible way, in my opinion. This, like the whole thing with putting it inside of blades, like I did not like that idea very much. So I definitely didn't like that. There was just there was
Also, the
multiple
name,
things.
the Time Blades.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's like I just couldn't. I couldn't with that. I just
Like Ninjago usually has that cringy element to it already, but they literally just turned it up a notch to like top 10 level notches in this season. I don't know why.
exactly. I mean, shoot. The only good thing about the no, before
Go ahead.
before you assault me, Dylan. Before you assault me, the only thing I actually like about this thing is the intro. That's the only thing I like. Is the intro.
Guys,
Literally.
guys, we're we're gonna be right back. We're gonna go teach Blake a lesson. Okay.
No, I killed him. I slaughtered his head with this katana.
Blake ran away after our little
I sliced
conversation.
his head off. Don't lie.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
killed him.
We killed him. We killed. He's gone. He's not coming back on the stream
But
ever again.
But wait a second, Dylan, isn't there the departed realm? Maybe we can resurrect him back from the dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cloco
Do you have the card to that? Because I don't, dude.
Yes, I do. Cloco Despair, Cloco Ali's resurrect Blake Harding from the departed realm.
Yeah.
He's back, guys.
I brought him back from the departed realm, guys.
All right.
See,
Ninjroid, let's do it, man. Let's
okay.
trash this season apart.
Whoa! Okay. First episode was actually good.
And that was it.
Second episode was shit. Okay, so we go from Acronix I really liked in the first episode. Him fighting Wu and all that. I hate the name the Time Blades. I hate Acronix liking Commander Machia. I hate the Vermilion Warriors as well. Snakes again. Oh, but Ninja, they're just smaller snakes. Yeah, I don't care. It's still stupid. All right, as well as oh yeah, the whole thing about Master Chen saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, there's dark secrets about your family, guys. Guess what? You should turn evil, Kai. Join me and Skylar and Klaus. Because your parents, there's some dark secrets about them." Oh, we were forced to work for them. We were forced to work for them. We were forced to make them helmets. We were forced to. Don't you understand? Or else they would hurt you. Oh my God, you guys ruined such great potential. What if Kai and Nia's parents were evil? That would have been great for storytelling.
And dude, literally within the flashback, they literally just get up and leave their kids behind. Like,
yeah, that's another thing as well. And then, oh yeah, what's his name? Crux's alias, Dr. Sanders Saunders. What the frick? Sanders, basically. Dr. Sanders. His first name is Sanders. His last name is Saunders. It's the same thing. He just said it's, like, what the frick type of writing is this? Also, the dialogue. This is the worst dialogue out of anything this whole show has done. Hey, guys, guess what? You won't take over Ninjago because we have the time blades. And Lloyd says to both of them. And then they're like, yeah! And all that. And guess what? They're so stupid that Commander Makia just goes in with her glider and steals the time blade right out of Lloyd's hand. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Also, the fact that they played with the time blade is so retarded as well. Okay, and then
It's ridiculous, man.
Also, Jay is still sleeping with his teddy bear as well. Like, what is wrong with that? And then also, there's animation mistakes as well in this season. Like, there's a scene where Nia does not even have her hair on her head. There's that mistake. And I caught it. Not everyone on here has, but I did because I'm Ninjroid 243. Yes, I hate you guys for doing that mistake. How dare you? Anyway, back to what I was going to say. Also, the episode title, Secrets Discovered. But guess what's the worst title out of all of them? Episode 6, The Attack.
Oh,
The Attack. Guys, it's called The Attack.
I guess they're all just going to sleep, during that episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% they are.
yeah,
You
they're gonna
the
just
attack.
sleep.
Also, thank you for bringing up sleep. Sensei Wu does nothing in this freaking season. All that he does is sleeps. He's
Yep,
like,
that's true.
Achoo. And then he even fakes it. He says to Misako, he's just faking it because he's like, I'm done with this. He straight up just is a quitter and all that.
You know what? I'm legit with this season. I'm Master Wu because I'm just done with this season. I'm out.
Yeah.
Season 7, literally, this is me leaving, guys. I'm out. Bye.
So anyway, all that Wu does is sleep. Then we continue onward, and all the other ninjas don't do anything well in this season. The only interesting thing that happens is that, there's another Samurai X, which I actually like Nia whole thing of her trying to discover who Samurai X is. That's like the only storyline that actually fits at all, because the season's trying to be a Nia season as well with Kai, right? Well, Nia's whole thing about her trying to be like, I still care about Samurai X, but the problem is the season was trying to tell her, you cannot be Samurai X anymore. You must be the water ninja. You must accept that, But guess what? There was no conflict with it. It's like, oh, you know what? You're right. You saved my ass. Guess what? You are now going to be Samurai X. That's all there is. Like, bruh, I don't get it. Okay?
Yeah, they had so many good ideas. I really like the idea of Nia and Jay. Nia and Kai's parents coming back and them possibly being villains and betrayed Master Wu in the original story. I like all that. That's a great idea. But the execution, man, wow.
Also, the Time Twins were not even... So you know how Master Chen manipulated some of the elemental masters against them? We saw that in the flashback. The Time Twins were not even those elemental masters. Like, what? You could have legit wrote it to be that. Like, after a Serpentine War, the Time Twins decided... You know what? Because Chen
Plus the name Time Twin. I'm sorry, that's stupid.
Oh no, I like the Hands of Time, like the name, the Hands of them being called Hands of Time, and also I do like the fact that they're twins because there's two hands on a clock. I like all that. That was like, okay, I like how that's clever, but the execution was horrible, and I hated it. And the only character that felt like themselves was Lloyd.
Yeah, that's true. Every single character, like, here's the thing. Kai, okay, he's not the bravest soul in Ninjago or anything like that, but he's straight up a coward in this season, which makes no sense in his character. Jay's usually the funny one, or at least tries to be, and I don't really like his jokes. Jay acts like Kai.
Yeah, that's.
Don't even get me started on Cole. What the heck is Cole again? Cole acted like someone else.
Cole didn't even do anything. That's the thing. And also, they all took their turns to face the first Vermilion Warrior. Like, what is with that, huh? Let's roll the dice in Zane's head. Like, what the frick is that? All right, Blake, you can now talk. Apparently, you only have 30 more minutes.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, I mentioned why. I mean,
yeah, go ahead with season 8 through 16.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Just so my whole
burn them off.
My whole thing with 8 through 10, I kind of considered that like one as kind of like one thing because yeah, each of them had their own different things, but they had all one story. So like when considering like especially the rankings and stuff, I kind of just included it all in because it's all in reality it kind of leads up to the same story. And so kind of going on about that, I really enjoyed 8 through 10. Like the whole thing with the dual stories, that's like the first time we got to see, or at least to my knowledge, it might have been not the first time, but I feel like it was the best executed to where they did two separate seasons, like not two separate seasons, but two separate like timelines. The whole thing with them being inside the Oni realm as well as back in Jago. Like I liked the way that they kind of the way that they binded the two stories together. It was really nice, and even with the transitioning between the two, it was really smooth, and I liked all of that. And even the two stories as well, they were pretty nicely written. Like I liked the whole thing with the journey with how they didn't have Lloyd and they were just journeying off the the few ninjas were going, and the whole thing with how they were like quote unquote kind of enslaved, and how I really enjoyed the story. I liked it. Just kind of gave me that like post apocalyptic feel, and that was kind of nice. And then on top of that, you had just Ninjago, the whole thing with like wreaking havoc, to where they're just like struggling to even like how everyone's just struggling for their lives, which kind of connects, that kind of ends up kind of connecting to. It gave me the same feel as season 16, where they were just barely holding on, with the whole thing with like the mushroom and stuff, how they had to hide and stuff like that. And so that's how I kind of linked them between the two, and I really liked that feel on top of the post-apocalyptic. I can't say that word, but you know what I'm saying. On top of that feel, I really enjoyed that. Enjoyed all the characters, including Garmadon. How, like, I really liked that overall. And then kind of going on to season 11, which season 11 was that was the kind of like the two-parter where it was 30 episodes with the first part being before they were sent to the ice realm, and then obviously the second part. Yeah, the fire chapter. Now I will say I wasn't a big fan of the first part, but the second part I really liked. I liked that feel of Zane, being the Ice Emperor. He's like, oh yeah, look at me, Even though he didn't do that, I mean, we know.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the end of Blake. Okay. I'm not sure if he's coming back or not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyway.
So, what I will say just right now, guys. Oh, okay, he is back.
No, I was back. I was just kind of interrupted when.
Interrupted. So go ahead
Yeah,
and tell your
I
thoughts.
was kind of interrupted while, um, kind of back to what I was mentioning. Shoot, I was really put off track during that. Oh yeah, I was mentioning about the second part. Like I said, I mean, the first part, it's just kind of the first part for me. I just can't really. It's just one of those things for me. It's just kind of there, you know. I feel like the first part's more or less of a build up of the second part, or at least in my opinion, you know. But with the whole second part, I really liked the whole thing with the formulings as well. You know, that was really nice with how they all had their own their own like transformation type thing. I like the feel of like how it was a tribe thing, like how it was just this whole tradition that they had. I kind of want to say tradition, but I'm kind of forgetting the word that we put it when we were first talking about it. I really enjoyed that whole thing, her story, and how I think it was I don't remember the girl's name who was the wolf. I forget it because I know there was just so much that was going on.
Akita.
But okay, Akita, and as well as I think it was it Lloyd? Yeah, it was Lloyd. I liked their whole journey. That was really nice as well, and how they found the mech and how we saw the recordings with Zane, and it's just all of that was just great overall, and so that's why it was. I really enjoyed that. Going on to the next one. Next one, I actually really like this one, which I will say my list after I'm done with all of this for you guys to like see it. I'm just kind of explaining them right now, kind of saying how I feel. Next one, this one's actually really high on the list because I really love the video game feel, you know? It is the Prime Empire part. I really enjoyed it. I mean, the beginning was like it was just the beginning, you know, with the mechanic guy, and it was it just was what it was. But then slowly as it started getting on, I slowly started liking it more and more with all the challenges and the collecting of the blades. Okino, by the way, he's amazing. He's great. I love the whole thing with like how he just kept going and going and going, even though like he just kept failing over and over. I mean, it kind of teaches you that it's kind of like a lesson. It's kind of like a lesson behind itself, you know, where it's like to not give up and stuff like that. And it's really nice, you know. You got to see that, and then it was nice seeing the whole thing where everyone was pretty much turned into a cube except Jay, and then how he was leaving out with the dragon because you got to see the whole thing with the deployment dragon. You're like, oh, when is this gonna play a role? And it's like, oh yeah, look, boom, right here, you know, it ended up playing a role. And I enjoyed that whole thing. Prime, like the Prime Empire, which is cool. The feeling of the lives and stuff like that, and also how they like to and how they had to get used to the video game world, you know, and how it was like, oh yeah, this I trained for so much, you know, and now I have to sit there and grind it inside the video game world. I found that really nice. What was his name? Jay gave himself a name. I really liked the name. It was like Rock something Jay. I really liked that. That was actually pretty cool. Um,
Rockstar J.
Rockstar. Okay, that's why I thought Rockstar Jay. That was really nice. I did like seeing the guy. I he's another one that I don't quite remember. It was the one with the invisible garage where he was in there long enough and
Scott.
Scott, yep. I liked his whole backstory as well, how he was the first person set the game and how he got to see all of that stuff. I really enjoyed how he had, his own little mini backstory. Overall, just a really good season right now. Right there. Season 13, Master of the Mountain. Okay, so this one was actually pretty good. It was the Cole season, which was really nice. Now, I wasn't the greatest fan of the villain. The villain was okay. Like it was nice, you know. It just I kind of felt a little bit unnatural to me, the villain. It's just because of the whole thing with the skull and stuff like that, you know. Um but other than that, I really like Cole's development, how he went to like the deep bottom and how he was just like, he was getting knocked down and he got back up, he kept going. And I like seeing the whole thing with how you really got to see the whole thing with the Vengestone, like because I know they were slowly doing the operation or something like that, give or take. Like you got to hear of Stone, and then you got to hear of the operation, I think, a couple seasons before. But this is where you really got to see, the farming happening, And so after you got to see the farming happening, like it kind of brought up that big question of, oh, where is this going? Who's the seller of this Stone? And I like that big question. I really enjoyed that baby dragon. That was pretty cool. I didn't even realize like previously there was no dragons that were like that went from small to big. And when I saw that happen, I was like, what is going on here? It was really nice. And I also enjoyed, you got to see a lot of different backstories in this one as well. Also, now I forgot to mention about this inside previous stories in, well, not previous story, previous season, but in seasons 12 and 13, you kind of got to see when they were saying backstories how it was like animated. That was easily the greatest thing ever, to the point where I really enjoyed it. You got to see Jay where he was like you got to see Jay where he was almost like a Saiyan, pretty much. If you went and looked back, that was pretty nice as well. I really enjoyed that. Like I said, that was actually really creative what they did there, and it was great. That's what kind of made me enjoy the season a little bit more. It was like a little bit extra good something, And so those are my thoughts for that. 14 Island, it's the island. It's 4 episodes. I mean, I kind of have the same feeling that with Jay. I mean, not with Jay. I have the same feelings as Austin felt with 14. 14 is just 14, It's kind of like setting the stone for it's setting the stone for the next season, which is pretty much Seabound, which Seabound was the one with that was the Nia season with the water, which I thought was pretty good, which I kind of get into the talk about the whole thing that you mentioned earlier with Nia, and I was waiting to give my thoughts, but I might as well give them now. Now, I didn't hate the fact that she got powers. I actually liked it. It's that the fact that when she got her powers, they sat there and they gave the vision of, oh, I'm just the girl, Like, it wasn't that the fact that she got her powers, is that the fact that they introduced that kind of type image for her, if that makes any sense,
Mhm.
They introduced that image of her, like, oh, I'm just the girl type thing. So it wasn't that the powers I hated, I just hated that vision that they got. But other than that, season 15 was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was a Nia season. It was unique. You got to see the own females, season. Even though I'm kind of doing the thing that I just mentioned before, that was annoying. The idea, the female season or whatever. So, but no, it was really nice. I liked the thing with the end with the water. That was all right. I mean, 15 was just 15. Now 16. 16. This one? Now I will go ahead and say I did not read my listing off yet. I will just go ahead and say straight out. I put that one as my first one, like top one. I loved it. There were so many things I loved. I like seeing the Garmadon, like the
I
bag.
just want to make sure you guys are clear about what I think about season 15. That's my thumbnail of that season.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, kind of back to season 16. I really liked season 16. It's my favorite season. I like seeing even like the evil version of Garmadon, even though he got brought back as evil. I like seeing him slowly turn to good, and at the very end, like he was really starting to get good. I like seeing Vinny from NGTV, bro. He is honestly a W. Like teaching Garmadon to be a good guy. He is the true hero of this entire.
He's the true
TV
hero of
series.
the entire series.
Yeah,
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 absolutely. Because if
No
he
Lloyd.
didn't,
Yeah,
if he did,
Fuji-
Garmadon would never be a good guy.
Fuji
Fuji Dub as well. Yup, greatest things ever. But no, because of Vinny over here from NGTV, we got to see Garmadon turning good, which was really nice. And another thing I love so much, like this is one of my favorite things. I don't know why. Ever since I saw it, I'm like, I want more of this. We got to see Lloyd turn into Oni. I was like, dude, yes, I want more of that. I want more. It was just great. I mean, I know that's not how he is. I know that's his fear, but it's like it's really cool seeing, even though it's his fear, I like seeing how, like, I don't know, it's just hard to explain. It's one of those things that are really hard to explain to the point where I don't know. I saw it. It's like it's just one of those things where I saw and I just like, yes, it was great. I don't know how to describe it quite. And I really like seeing the whole multiple twist there, like with Harumi in the end, where he's like, oh, where the overworld was like, oh yeah, I did all of this stuff. I was the secret one behind all of it. I was the big villain, ha 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 ha. And then I like seeing Harumi be like, you know what? Screw you, you little punk, and then just like start charging at him with the sword and just whacking him over and over with the sword, even though it wasn't much. I was like, hey, look at that. She's actually redeeming herself, even though it wasn't much. It's something. And it wasn't like any trick or anything like she was doing before in like previous seasons. It was actually like legitimate. And so that's just like that's one
What,
of yeah.
what about the first half?
Yeah, I do
We
have to
didn't
talk a little
really
bit
talk
about
about
yeah,
that.
I didn't. I was really talking about the end because there was just a lot of stuff I had to get out on the end because the end was just it was just great. Okay, so now kind of reflecting on that part, I did like seeing now it was no, I wouldn't even say it was slow to be honest. It actually started up
No,
pretty quick with the whole thing with them grieving Nia, but they slowly started getting back up, trying to figure out a way to get her back, trying to figure out a way to get her back and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? Hey, they have hope. They're keeping going. That was great. And I like seeing the part where the whole part where they actually were trying to get her back and how they had to sit there and keep holding the ice. I was like, oh shoot,
yeah,
that must be it was nice seeing them trying to manage a task inside of a timely manner. Like it really shows you how much they've grown. Because what I'm talking about timely manner is with the whole thing with how they had to keep her frozen. That was a limited amount of time because they had to send Zane with them to go, retrieve the weapon with retrieve the weapon that the one serpentine. What was that serpentine's name? I keep forgetting it. Asphira. Yeah, it's a really difficult name in my opinion. Um,
That's
they had to
fear.
retrieve.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's always been a tricky one to
it's
remember
a
for
tricky
me.
name. Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I like seeing them try to tackle a timely task. That was really nice. And then after when they actually got her back, which kind of going back to the thing where this is actually one thing that actually, no. Now I think about it, it was less of that. They didn't really bring back. They kind of brought back that "I'm just a girl" type thing, but it was more or less of. It was
no.
more or less no. It was more. I take that back. It was more or less her facing her fears, and that was really nice. Her fear of not having powers being normal. I like seeing her
Which
cope with
I would
them.
question, why should she have that fear considering everything
That's
she's
why I
done
was
in the
saying,
past?
yeah. That's why I was saying the whole thing with the mech.
Mhm.
I don't understand how she had
I
that fear.
think I that's actually a very valid point. I think she just grew to like just
It
love
was
her
just the way
power.
she was. Yeah, she just
I think
grew,
she
Yeah.
and
just
then
grew into that, and then you know, then she just had to remember that. Well, no, I was something without my powers. I was
yeah.
Samurai X, and I love that she becomes Samurai X again. It's
Yeah.
That
like
was
poetic. She was Samurai X in season one. In the final season, she's Samurai X again. You know, I like
it's
Yeah.
that.
it's really nice seeing her, step up and like actually figure out if
Season
she was actually
16 is
scared
a
of it.
blast.
That's what I
Absolutely.
was saying. For those haters as well, kind of going back to the same. Yes, I'm milking the same joke yet again. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You can deal with it. File agreements. That's what I have to say. Guess what? I'm saying it again. You don't like season 16? Step on a Lego. Go find a Lego. Step on it. Guess what? See a paper? Get a paper cut. I don't care. Deal with it. I like season 16. And yes, I did just watch this, which means guess what? That little contradictory thing, yes, it happened. Yes. So, but yeah, that was for the most part that was, my thoughts and stuff
You
like that on
didn't.
all the seasons.
What
Huh?
about the Crystal Council and Harumi's reveal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Harumi's reveal. Yeah, I really did like that as well. I did like the undercover Lloyd, which I did like the undercover Lloyd, and I also enjoyed. Now I'll kind of bounce back to the council, but I kind of have to. There's something else I want to mention real quick. I do like the whole thing with the train. How we actually kind of learned something. We kind of got to learn something about Jay. You know how he's actually like an actual semi like collecting nerd. You know when it comes to trains. Like we never knew this till the final season. It was really nice seeing it. And I really enjoyed that whole thing where like one of his like secret things actually ended up turning out to be actually really good. Now kind of going back to the whole council thing. I did like that. I did like the whole thing how they were going to reveal the Crystal King in the end and how they were all just sitting there like and how they thought that she was the Crystal King at first. And then when she did the reveal and she was like, "Oh yeah, this, and that," and like they were just
No, she sings the same spider song.
oh,
To
I
She
forgot
does,
about
dude.
that.
Renee.
And
forgot
dude, when I
about
first
that.
watched it, I didn't even pick that up.
I was the
Ninja
one.
did.
I
I was
forgot
so
about it.
shocked
I
when the
straight
mask
up-
falls and I
As soon
found
as I
out who it
heard,
was.
as soon as I heard her say spider, I was like, oh, I legit got out
I
of my
didn't
chair.
even
I
pick
was
that
like,
up when I first watched it.
I picked it up when I
Literally
first watched it.
When the
but if I'm
mask
being-
fell off, I was just like nuts.
Yeah, if I was just being, I did pick up on that, but I honestly, for some reason, I actually completely forgot about. I can't believe I forgot about that because now I think about when I saw that, I was like, oh crap, it is on, And as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, not only did I think that, it also kind of popped up a whole bunch of questions. I'm like, what happened? What was going on? I was hit with that
and
wave
then
of
the next
confusion.
episode answers.
Next episode answers it. So like I was hit with that wave of confusion, but then that was like immediately like solved the next episode.
What about
And
the
so
Overlord?
the Overlord. Oh, I think I talked about him a little bit, but I guess I can continue. I like I said, I really liked the whole thing where he was the plan, but like he was the one beneath it all, and how I liked how they mentioned. I don't think they mentioned this before, but I liked how he mentioned how he was immortal. I didn't know that. I mean,
Oh no, they
Did I?
brought that up.
they brought that up.
a
Okay,
while
that's
ago.
what I was going.
Like ever since
Really?
season 2, he said,
I missed that
light,
then.
where there is light, there must always be shadow. He's
I missed
always
that.
there. He is seeing that's the thing. Ninjago, there was always light, and then there's always darkness, which he is that darkness.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So he is immortal practically. That's why, like, yeah.
So, or I'll let you go first. Then I actually have a
no.
really good-
What I was just gonna say was, well, no, continue, because I actually want to hear your
So
ranking.
I'll do my ranking in a second, but there's one last thing since you did mention about the Overlord. So did you say so? Looking back, how he transformed into that big thing, did he say that he can take any form? Like he can pretty much be like any sort of like.
No. So you see, so he has many forms. So his actual form was the dragon. We all know that. From
Yeah.
season 2, he said that. Then, and this is the best twist out of the whole thing. So yes, he was behind everything, but the thing is, in season, he legit straight up said, "I was the one who possessed the Great Devourer." Like that to me was like, oh shit. And he said, I possessed the Great Devourer to bite you because I needed a perfect vessel. So the only reason why Garmadon is evil, thus the
Yeah.
show happened, was because of the Overlord, practically. Like
Yep.
that is like
Good
brilliant. because
storytelling.
the
That's
thing
how you write
the
story.
Great
That
Devourer,
was good.
the Great Devourer, that being bitten was like part of the reason why the Serpentine War begun. Thus, Master Chen, the Hands of Time turned after the Serpentine War. You get why I mean? Like everything basically thus started because that freaking snake bit Garmadon.
Yeah.
So I love that whole thing, and it makes season 2 even better because when Garmadon was at the Dark Island, he's like, okay, why are there four? Why is there this spot for forearms? It's because of destiny. No, motherfucker, it's because you planned this all out. You wanted him to. You
Oh
want to
my
possess him.
gosh.
See, and that's why he possessed him in season 2. He said it himself. He's been planning this for 1,000 years. He said in season 2. Now we understand he bit the Great Devourer. Thus, this whole plan happened in season 2. It's great.
The entire thing is the Overlord.
The
The entire thing.
exactly.
The entire thing is Palpatine, guys. The Overlord is Palpatine, at least with Ninjago.
It is. No, for Ninjago,
Nope.
it is. Yeah, it straight up is. Overlord is Palpatine, straight up. Like, heck, he's even electrocuting Lloyd and Garmadon, just like how Palpatine electrocuted.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh my gosh.
And
You never noticed that before, dude?
No.
Also in season 3, after the Overlord gets his new like golden armor look when he becomes Golden Master, remember he legit is walking down a hallway with all the Nindroids looking like stormtroopers, like all in signal formation. Legit, the writer said, yes, this is the Emperor for Ninjago. Like, they straight up said, that's what we're trying to get here in your head. Because the writers, the Haveman brothers, were huge fans of Star Wars. That's the thing. You know, as there's lots of references. But yeah, Blake, continue.
Well, that was actually, for the most part, most of my thoughts and how I felt, and like what made season 16 great, mainly. Yeah, were you about to say something, Dylan?
Yeah, I was going to say, before you go, give your favorite character and give your favorite villain.
I was also going to do the rankings as well, real quick.
Yeah, do the rankings as
So,
well, bro.
On top of that, I do have a couple honorable mentions as well. So, favorite character. Now, I'm going to put the villain. I'm going to put the villain as something separate as to. I'm just going to do like ally villain. So my favorite villain is obviously Garmadon. I mean, I like just his overall development's great. And then for the good character, I would have to say Zane. I really like Zane. Like that one was actually hard. That was actually really close. Honorable mentions now. This is going to be great. Honorable mentions are the chicken. Chicken? Great. Greatest thing ever. Okay, another thing. Now, I have to do a similar thing as Austin. For the memes, you have to say Darren. He's an honorable mention. Has to. Because it's Darren, you know. W. Darren. And another honorable mention. Vinny from NGTV, as well as the grand one and only best ever Fuji Dove.
Yeah! I
Yup,
was just about to say Fuji Dove. Come on now, you stole my character.
Yep. And so that's kind of like, that's how I feel with that. Now I'm going to read off my list real quick. I will mention I only spent like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours on this. I feel like I should have spent a little bit longer on it because it was like, there was a lot of things where I feel like after talking about it, I would probably change. But I'm just going to go ahead and say the list of what I had down after about an hour and some change of what I thought of Off the Dome, which pretty much, now I'm looking back, is probably not the greatest thing. But I'm just going to go ahead and say what my list was, which I have over here. So right now I have a list of 18 things because I just took the 3, like I said before, the whole trilogy, Oni and Dragon, I just put as 1 because it was the same story, and that's what I thought made it great, was the story portion of that, and so that's why I included it as combined. So at number 18, obviously the great holder for number 18 is season 7, Hands of Time, obviously. 17, I have the first part of 11, which, not, like I said, I'm kind of going back on that. I would probably change that, you know. It was just kind of, I didn't put enough thought into that, I feel like. Now, this one's another one where I wish I put a little bit more thought because I actually respect it a little bit more. 16, Tournament of Elements, which is season 4. I feel like that should be a little bit higher. I just, for some reason, I put it low. I'm not sure what I was thinking at the time, but after
Did
actually
Austin
going over
talk about it? Did Austin even
A
defend
little
it?
bit. No, a little bit. He did defend it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So next one is The Island. I mean, it was only 4 episodes. It was really short. So it's like I can't put it really high, okay? And then the one
I'm just think Tournament of Elements is way better than that. But
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. It was better than that. That's why I said actually looking over it, I feel like it's the same thing with the pilots as well. Number 14 was the pilots. I feel like I should have probably put those a little bit lower and put the tournament of elements a little bit higher. Like I said, it was just kind of it's just what I was thinking for some reason.
Yeah.
After the pilots, I have the Rise of Snakes, which is the first season. Now, you don't have that. I don't have that like nostalgia like you do. So that's why it's a little bit different for me, you know? And then for 12, I have Legacy of Green Ninja number 2. Kind of similar situation right there, where I just don't have that same feeling of nostalgia. Number 11, Possession. Like I said, I really liked the intro. It was just like there was a couple of things that I had with it that was just now this one right here. I am a little bit upset I put it this far low at number 10. I wish I would have put it higher because I actually really like this one. For some reason, I put season 3 rebooted, which I kind of put inside the middle. Yeah, I know. For some reason, I put it in the middle. I don't know why, because I actually really like that one. Now, there's a couple up top that I feel like I probably should have bumped down as well. So for number 9, I have Seabound. Seabound should have been lower, in my opinion. I don't know what I was thinking.
I agree with that.
Now, 8, I put Master of the Mountain. I feel like that was reasonable. Number 8,
No.
really? Well, that's what I felt for at least that one, you know, because it wasn't like too bad, nor was it too. It was kind of like 7. I put Skybound. I feel like that definitely should be within top 5. I'm upset that I didn't put that because Skybound. I even told you that was like one of my favorites. I'm actually upset I put that low. I don't know what I was thinking. That should actually be top 3. 6. Now this is where you guys are going to be mad because I don't know what I was thinking. That should have been definitely lower. I put the Day of the Departed because okay. So okay.
No, it's face perfect.
No, it's because the potential for some reason I was thinking like the potential it had if they put it as a full season. That's what I was thinking.
I
of
don't
that.
care about the potential.
It could be great. It could have been great, but dude, to have it so high, dude.
No. I told you some of this I put more thought into. Others, I don't know what I was thinking. I feel like I should update this list. 5 is Ice Chapter, which I feel like is reasonable. That's reasonable. 4, Prime Empire. That was semi-reasonable. Maybe I should have put I feel like the third spot should have went to Rebooted, and the Prime Empire should have been 4th, and Skybound probably should have been 5th. Second, I put the Oni trilogy because I mean it's the trilogy. There's nothing I really love that. Number 1, obviously Crystallize. I mean, I told you the reasons why.
Yeah.
I just yeah.
See, if I was you, I would put the whole Oni Dragon trilogy at number 1. Like to me, I feel like the whole trilogy is better than Crystallized.
No, I liked Crystallized.
I actually agree with
Dylan
Star Wars
definitely
Network
agrees
here.
with me.
Yeah,
Dylan,
I really like Crystallized, but
we
Crystallized
love
is second.
Crystallized, but I'm sorry, Sons of Garmadon
Was way
outbeats
better.
that. Yes, and
Well, I found Ultraviolet very annoying. To be fair, she was very annoying.
I don't know, but guess what? She's also in Crystallized.
Yeah.
and she was
Okay.
also
Yeah.
in-
No, I didn't.
No.
Okay.
Don't freaking say anything. She
Still,
was also-
there was more stuff that like there was more stuff that actually made me like oh crap during season 16.
See,
That's why.
I know, but as a writing
understandable.
thing, as writing though, I feel like there was like I still love season 16, but there's some things in there that I actually have issues with.
Yeah,
Which
there's a
what-
couple.
That could have been better. Yeah.
Which you know what? I'm actually gonna do my list before Blake runs off.
Yeah, I just gotta turn
wait,
my
let
camera
me-
off.
Let me actually run off now.
Like I said, my list, now actually going over it, like I said, I kind of messed up my list a little bit. I mean, there is some stuff that you guys didn't like about the list that I would keep as the same. Like, for example, number 8, I feel like I would keep the number 8 slot the same. I still feel like the first, in my eyes, should go to Crystallized.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Hey,
how.
if that's your favorite season, that's your
I
favorite
still-
season.
I still don't understand how he's not a fan of like. Well, I mean, he didn't say season 1 was bad, but season 1 to me is like one of the like. I get it, nostalgia for me, but at the same time, though, if you look back on it, that's like almost the perfect season.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah, it
bad,
really
but
is.
it wasn't bad.
Like,
It just there was better.
Each ninja had something to do. Like, it wasn't boring either. Any of it wasn't boring. Like, I feel like, honestly, that's kind of like, if you asked me, what does a Ninjago season need to be like?
That,
It needs to
yeah.
be like season 1. Like, that to me is the formula. That's why they took that formula of, oh, hey, the ninjas have to go collect something. You know, like, if it's either 3 things, 4 things, yada yada yada, there's a villain that wants these things. They took that and applied it to almost every single season of the show. It's because
That's
of that one season. So anyway, all right, so worst to best, Hands of Time sucks. All right, I'm gonna straight up just say that. All right, and then next one is Master of the Mountain, season 13. It's like watching paint dry for me. None of the characters really do anything. They get captured. I do like seeing the setup of the Vengestone stuff, but at the same time, though, I don't really feel like it's great. All right, Day Departed, the Fire chapter, the Island, Seabound, the Pilots, Ice chapter, Prime Empire, Legacy of the Green Ninja, that's season 2, Skybound, Tournament of Elements, Hunted, Possession, Rise of the Snakes, Crystallized, Rebooted, March of the Oni, and Sons of Garmadon. That is my ranking right there. I think March of the Oni is like a better finale than Crystallize in my eyes, because it, to me, it felt like I mean, like, honestly, it just felt like everything was closed, like a good chapter book, where at the end, Crystallize, I still have questions. Like, okay, what's the whole deal with Harumi now? Like, is Lloyd and Harumi gonna become a thing? Is Harumi going to jail because of what she did? Is Lloyd just gonna visit her in jail? About the ninja's powers and all that. Also, to me, Lloyd should have been an Oni during that entire final battle. It should have been that dragon with Oni Lloyd riding it. So it would have been both the power of the Oni and the dragon that defeated Overlord once and for all. You need both, not one or the other. You need both good and evil to defeat the ultimate evil. That is what I feel like. To create perfect balance, you need good and evil, you know?
At the same time, there's still that comparison with Star Wars and Luke Skywalker.
And that's I'm doing a video about that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see that video, by the way.
Yeah, no. I did compare that, and you straight up said that you actually see that now. And
I
actually,
see that now, yeah.
Watching the season finale, though, like, of Crystallize again.
I wish they put more effort into it, but I do see that.
No, but I actually see it now even more. Like, I'm like, oh, you know what? I like that now. Like, I don't have an issue really with that really as much now. Like, it doesn't hurt me as much. Like, I can take Crystallize now as it is and all that, even though I can make my own headcanon that post-Crystallize, Harumi goes to jail and Lloyd visits her on occasion and all that. That's what I feel like happens. But yeah. Also, I feel like some other... Okay. Blake.
Yeah, guys.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Blake.
I actually gotta get.
You
going
want to tell people
right
where
now.
they can find you at first, or anything?
I'll say it real quick. YouTube, TikTok, Bone Stuck Jr. You guys, I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. It was a blast. I really enjoyed it. I
Welcome
wish
anytime.
yeah, I wish I would have made the list a little bit better. I did mess up a couple of things. I am sticking to a couple of them though, like I mentioned. I think you guys heard me the ones I would stick it to as to the ones I would change. I will see you guys in the next one. Okay.
See ya.
Yep. You know what I might do, Nindroid, because Steven had power issues and Blake had to leave early. I might actually do a part 2 so I can get Steve's thoughts and then have some fun with Blake again. But
Like an actual
with-
discussion as
Yeah.
well, because I didn't even get a lot of time to discuss anything really. I just quickly had to get my thoughts out really quickly because of this. Like,
yeah,
bro, I'm sorry and all that, but I didn't want
no, that's fine. I'm
like that's why I actually was ready. I legit set up this whole thing before I went to work, and I actually got my Ninjago stuff out, and I wanted to show my blanket and old towel because I was like, that could be cool for the viewers to see. Also nostalgia stuff, why not? But yeah, like honestly, quick little thing, guys. Oh yeah, look at my Crystal King, guys. Look at my Crystal King. What's that? You're actually gonna see a review of this guy, of this set. So
yeah.
love this Crystal King. Anyway, but yeah, guys. What's another thing that I was gonna say though?
Well,
honestly,
I mean,
I kind
yeah,
of
I mean, yeah, we talked about a lot of it. We talked
I
about 1
already
through
said,
season 16
like-
and stuff.
like
so.
I did not really talk about 8 to 16, but I don't know if we want to kind of redo this. Maybe I might just.
I wouldn't redo it. I would do a part 2 and have a continuation of this. I think.
Well, do you actually want the? Because I can save my thoughts till then, bro.
Yeah, you know what? It's almost 9 o'clock. It's almost at that 3 hour mark anyway. So I think, guys, what I might actually do is maybe Wednesday, assuming our buddy Steve gets his power back. Maybe Wednesday we'll actually go live and do a part 2 to this. Before the Jimmy Neutron videos come out, because that way we can get Steve's thoughts, we can get Ninja's thoughts on season 8 through 16. Plus, I set up a game for us to play, and now it's literally just you and me. So it wouldn't be fair to just play it between you and me when our buddies have already left. So, I mean, Austin wasn't gonna be able to play it no matter what, but Steven.
Well,
Steve
maybe
and Blake, I thought, would like to play the game.
maybe though we can get Austin back on possibly if he's not working.
No, I'm gonna let him go to bed. In fact, I think I'm just going to actually end the stream here. With that said, Ninjoid, tell the people where they can find you at, and we will be doing a part 2 to this on Wednesday, guys. We'll be doing a continuation of this on Wednesday. But go ahead and tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Wednesday. And also tomorrow on Storms Live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So go check me out. We are going to be starting a Ninjago channel called the Ninja Brothers.
Yep. Also, what day are we supposed to talk about Superman, dude?
Also, we got to talk about my adventures with Superman, the first 2 episodes of that season. Which,
is that going to be tomorrow or is that going to be Monday?
I'm free. How about after I'm done on Storms Live, we can do it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow after Storms Live.
Yes. So that's 10 o'clock my time till 11 o'clock. So that means
that'd be around 8 my time. Yeah. We can do like late stream, kind of 9-ish for me. Yeah, I think that would work. All right, so yeah, you guys make sure you guys go follow the Star Wars Network. And with that said, you guys can find me on his channel whenever he does stuff. it's gonna be a lot of fun when we start up the Ninja Brothers team along with Steve and Blake as well. That should be fun. And with that said, guys, I am about to click away. What I will say is the next video that we will be talking about getting ahead of myself. The next show we will be talking about will actually be Jimmy Neutron. That's the one that won the pro last week. But again, I had a couple buddies, Steve and Blake, who really wanted to talk about Ninjago, so we did this instead. But we will be talking about Jimmy Neutron next week. That will be fun. Also, I got a lot of shorts and a lot of videos planned coming out through the week. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe because I'm trying to get my subscription numbers up. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and we are out. Bye.
Later.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.